All right, it is our world-famous Play Shelf Trade, unique only to this amazing show. And it's a segment where we take 3 games. We each choose out of those games which one we would like to play right now, shelf to play later, because it's so good that we have to keep it, or trade it away for something better. And so we're going to start things off by talking about 3 different games. They are Res Arcana, Comic Hunters, and Villagers. So we'll start with Res Arcana, or is it Arcana? I don't know. You say Arcana, I say Arcana. Arcana. This is my shelf. It's a fantastic game. It is absolutely one of the best games out there that I play, and I don't know why I don't play it more, because it's just a lot of fun. Every single time I play it, I'm just like, this is good. This is good. And it is by the same designer. Oh boy, I'm going to forget his name. Tom Lehman, I think. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing his last name correct. But he is the designer of a Race for the Galaxy, a Roll for the Galaxy, all those games, and he does a beautiful job with Res Arcana, and the expansion for it is also fantastic. It is definitely my shelf. I'll keep it on the shelf for life.
All right. Well, for me, Res Arcana is gonna be my probably my shelf as well. You might be surprised because of the comic book hunters and Marvel theme and all that stuff, but Res Arcana is a top 10 game for me. It is really exciting engine building game. You get to make some really quick decisions on your turn. Everything you do feels like it's impactful to the whole game that you're playing in general. You draft some cards like you would in challengers, and you get to then make a small little deck of 8, and you get to manipulate that deck of 8 cards. A lot of fun, a lot of good things in there.
Yeah,
All
Res
right, Chris,
Arcana
how about you?
is. How about me?
No, we're going straight to Chris, because I'm running this program, baby. No, John, How about you?
Res Arcana, it's actually going to be my play. It's been so long since I played Res Arcana, and it's one of those games that I don't know that I've been that successful when I played it. I think I've only won once, and that was like barely. And it was like a 1-on-1 versus Daniel, and I thought I was out of it. And all of a sudden I went for the gold, baby, and I got all this gold and ended up winning. But it's one of those games it's such a tight deal with that little deck that you're trying to manipulate. And like you say, you're hoping these cards come out. A lot like challengers, like you're saying.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. And so, but yes, definitely going to be my play. It's been way too long. Now we'll go to Chris. What do you think, Chris?
Wait, I'm hosting this. I'll throw it to him, Chris.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Andy. So this game's nothing like challengers, which is why it's my play. I actually somehow I think I believe I've played Villagers before. But Res Arcana, I've never got to the table, and I know Daniel like at least 10 times is like, "Do you want to play Res Arcana?" And then somehow we end up not. I don't know why, but it's eluded me. So much so that like I had to go online and shout out to Rodney. I had to watch it played. Not a sponsor, but man, dude, come on the show, that'd be awesome. But anyway, so I watched it and I was like, "Oh, Tom Lemon, I know that guy because he makes this game." Which I actually was not a fan of the first time I bought it, but I got a super good deal with the little like wooden insert and expansion. So I had it for a long time. Finally got it out to the table recently. I liked it. So yes, Andy, yes, Roll for the Galaxy is my play. But also my play is this. Now there is no way Res Arcana will top this. So this will always be my highest layman game.
All right, we've jumped
Res Arcana may be number 2. It may be number 2. It looks very interesting to me. I like the idea of how you draft the cards and how they produce things. It has a very magic feel where you have to tap them. You can do certain things, at once, or you can also tap it and do another thing. So, like, everything about this game screams to me exciting. So, yes, I definitely want to play this, and I can't wait to finally get to the table. But I'm sorry, 1846 Wallaby's my favorite Lyman game.
Yeah, you just blew my mind. I had no idea Tom Lehman, whatever his name is, made 1846.
Me either.
Absolutely.
I'm so impressed. All right. Play Shelf Trade Tom Lehman games. Go.
1846. All of them. All right, Andy, what you got?
Well, thank you. Let's move on to our next game here, and that would be Comic Hunters, a game that was played recently. I actually just was it last night? Yeah, it was last night I played it for the first time. And it's an illegal game. It's a contraband game, right? I mean, it's like
That's right.
sitting around smoking Cuban cigars. It's not allowed in our country, but somehow Daniel smuggled it in from Brazil, where they have the license to play it. And so, what was it? It was hot garbage, is what it was. It was terrible. There was no theme to it at all. Yet Daniel, I only think, liked it because it had comic book covers and comic book art. But otherwise, it's a very forgettable set collection tile lane game that you could paste any theme on you want. It was very forgettable, very stupid, big waste of time. I did not like it at all. It is definitely my trade.
Wow, Andy, I am blown away right now. That is shocking. That is a hot take from you. Even our friend Danielle Marsh loved this game, so it has nothing to do with the theme that makes it great. This game is a pure draft game. It is the modern art equivalent of drafting. And modern art is an auction game where you're doing like 10 different auctions and throughout the game. This is a drafting game where you're doing 5 different drafts for, okay, I exaggerate, leave it alone. and it just highlights how each draft can be super exciting and important. And this is my this is going to be my play, because I will play it anytime, anywhere. And not just because of the comic books, but that is a huge plus. Don't get me wrong. I adore the fact that they are the comic books I actually own here in this room. That is super amazing. But even if it wasn't that, I still think I would enjoy this game. The drafting of it is really fun. So Andy, you're just crazy. That's just, I knew you weren't enjoying it, but to say it was like garbage,
Heart
waste
garbage
of time. Oh,
like heart to heart.
That's right.
You heard me. I will not recant.
He can't recant or recount. Anyway, Daniel, this was actually going to be my play, but we played it last night. And I'm kind of in between you two, because to me, this game is all about the theme. It's the theme of the comic books and the real comic book art. And then, I had that comic, or I had that comic, and that's awesome. I always wanted to read that comic. To me, that is what makes this game. And the more I played it the other night, or last night, whatever it was, the more I realized that a little bit of the shine came off. And it's still my shelf. I still would like to have it in my collection and play it once in a while. But yeah, if it had any other theme, I couldn't care less how creative the drafts are. I really couldn't. And I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. It's all about the comics. It's about looking at the comics, how cool the comics are. And there'll never be an expansion for it because it's made in Brazil and it's going to be illegal to own it. So, and you really need an expansion to keep it alive. You need more comics in there. You need more different ways to draft them or whatever. So, sorry, it's still good enough to be my shelf, though. It is my shelf. But yeah, I've already played it. May not play it too many more times. We'll see. Chris, what you got?
All right, so I'm going to pull a line here from Big Dan T, the Cyclops character from Oh Brother Where Art Thou, as he smashes their heads over with a big stick and steals their money. It's all about the money, boys. So I'm trading Comic Hunters because it is contraband and it goes for a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm trading it. It is actually a fantastic game. I really like it. You're right. It's themeless. I don't care. I never have. I've been playing since the 90s. Theme doesn't matter, people. If it's a good game, if it's got good mechanics, and this game's got it in spades. It's fantastic. Only selling high because it's worth so much, but it's a great game.
I'm offended that you would sell it, Chris, but I understand, and at least you're defending it. Dang it.
All right. Well, thank you, Chris. That was a unique take. We all had unique takes there. That was kind of interesting. Our last game on the list is Villagers, and this is a game I own. It is going to be my play, and the reason it's going to be my play is because it hasn't gotten played enough. And I haven't played it with the expansions yet, really. And I've got some of the expansions. I even backed the one of the expansions, and I've got it, and I've never opened it. So it really deserves a play. It's a fun little game. I have to say I'm not super blown away by it, but I haven't had a bad time playing it either. I feel like maybe the expansions would give it some more depth. It's a tableau building card game where you are putting down different workers and occupations, and they all kind of fall into different categories. So there's guys that work with stone, there's guys that work with hay, and there's guys that work in the vineyards. And anyway, the abilities stack on top of each other. It's a fun little game. I need to give it a play again. Sorry, I just realized I'm talking way too long. Dana, what do you think about Villagers?
Well, you trashed my game. I'm going to trash your game. This one is a trade for me. We played it that one time many years ago, and I walked away from that game going, "What was that?" There were broken combos. Your whole play, you had like you would draft some cards, and you're like, "Okay, well, if I get this second card, this is going to be amazing." And then the entire game goes, and you never get that card. I'm sorry, I don't want to play any game where like an entire strategy hinges on like one card and it just never shows up for you, but it shows up for everybody else. And then, the person next to you gets that one broken combo, and then there's nothing you can do about it to stop the combo. No, this game, no. And I don't think I'm the minority here. I think online they even acknowledged there was an issue. I could be wrong. I don't want to defame anything without knowing 100%, but I'm pretty sure that it's a universal take on this game that there are some things in there that just does not work. So I'm getting it out of here.
Well, part of your problem is you weren't using the special cards. There are special cards that alleviate the problems you specifically spoke of.
If you have to make something special to solve a problem, it's not special. It's the game that we should have been playing.
It's part of the balance of the game. It's a way around the issue we're talking about. You're talking about if you don't get that one card. Yes, those cards are rare, especially the ones that are super good. They may not show up, but there are special cards that help you achieve some of the same objectives.
So you get the special card and no one else does. You win. Good job. I'm glad you drew it.
It's all about probability, my friend. Probability.
But you have no control.
All right.
So anyway,
villagers. So anyway, Villagers. This is a game that I have to say I'm going to trade because I have already traded it. I've owned it and traded it. I played it several times with Andy's copy, and I'll say this: if you play at maximum player count, that is the only way to play this game. Because I bought it and I tried playing it at less than maximum player count, and you have to take out these cards and these cards and these cards, and it seemed clunky and it seemed unintuitive, and it didn't really seem to flow like it should. And so I tried. It fell flat too. Nobody liked it. We only played about a half a game of it. They're like, let's play something else. I don't really understand what's going on. And then I played it solo by myself one time just to kind of relearn how to play it. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't know if I'm ever going to want to teach this game again. So it's going to go out of here. So Villagers, it can be fun, but especially in this group, it's the trade, especially since it's already traded in my group. So it's out of here.
Chris, what about you?
Well, I was just waiting to get to me. So yeah, so by definition, because I'm selling high on Comic Hunters and I really want to get Res Arcana played because I haven't played it yet. Villagers is my shelf, and it's kind of by default. Like, I'm pretty sure I've played it before, but that kind of tells you, like, it wasn't very memorable, right? Like, kind of like Andy and Daniel talked about, it just wasn't very memorable. And like, I feel like, again, we all talk about how I'm not the arcade. By the way, first of all, I love art. I'm a big, very artsy person. In fact, I love music and all this stuff. So art is my thing. Actually, I just don't care about it in my games. But I will say the art in this game is like, it's really perplexing. It's like, it's a very kind of different, minimalistic kind of style, but it's like done in such a way that it's also very forgettable. Like, it's just kind of like, it's hard to explain. Like, you actually have to see the art to really understand, but it's just kind of there. It's the only way to describe it. So,
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because this is not the first time we've done Play Shelf Trade where Chris has described the thing he puts on his shelf as not memorable and barely acceptable. And I'm like, the shelf is the equivalent of Mary in the other game we mimic. So,
again, like, that's not exactly. It's whatever you kind of make it, right? Like, I chose to sell Comic Hunters because it's worth a lot, right? It's all.
I understand. It's just funny to me. It's not very memorable, but I'll put it on the shelf.
I'll put it on the shelf because I can't. I got to put it somewhere. So,
Chris is.
If I could trade two, I would trade two.
No drum beat.
Well, thank you guys. That's interesting. Those of you that are watching and listening out there, please tell us what you would do. Would you play Shelf and Trade these games? Would you just maybe you don't want to put them in any of the categories like Chris didn't want to. So tell us in the comments. We'd love to know all about it, and we'd love to interact with you.
Thank you for watching this clip from Around the Board. If you'd like to watch the full episode, please click on the link down below. Around the Board is essentially a game show featuring 4 board game enthusiasts that discuss board game topics and news in a competitive format. Whoever wins gets to talk about whatever he wants at the end of the show. So please join us, won't you, Around the Board.